Hey Pike Knights! If you're looking for a great and well thought out bait casting rod for your big soft baits, then this is an episode for you. The rod we're going to look at today comes from Savage Gear and their fairly new Alpha SG8 series. A more high-end series that has a few different categories such as swim bait, big bait and finally monster bait. And it is in this category that this rod belongs. This is simply a bait casting rod with a slightly higher casting weight and a bit more power. The rod is 256 cm long with a casting weight between 56 and 250 grams, and it's a two-piece. In terms of price, these rods are somewhere between 300 and 450 euros when we checked prices during the summer of 2026. If we start looking at the details of the rod itself, we can first look at the case. Here we have a proper case with clear information about what the rod is, and I think that's great. This is a two-piece rod and the case has two separate compartments for each piece, which is something I always appreciate. Lengthwise, this is an 8 feet 5 inches long rod or 256 centimeters. Weight-wise, it's a fairly heavy rod at 285 grams. It's important to note that I haven't found any weight information online, but I weighed it myself on my kitchen scale. So if it is listed differently by any retailer, that might be the reason. Looking at the balance of this rod, we actually think it's a bit front heavy. So if you want to balance this rod well with a reel, we would recommend using a slightly heavier and stronger reel. And that fits, since this rod is designed for big baits. Not a strange combination, but something to consider. If we look at other measurements of this rod, we can start with the rear handle. Here we have a 46 cm long handle, which is also wrapped and has a very special shape at the bottom that makes it very comfortable to fish with. Looking at the reel seat, it comes from Fuji. This is a very comfortable reel seat with several good details. The detail I like the most is the locking mechanism. This double lock or double screw makes the reel sit very securely. It's probably the reel seat that has had the least play of all the reel seats I've ever tested, so a great detail from Savage Gear here. In front of the reel seat we have a proper front handle that Swedish anglers usually appreciate. So overall, if you look at the rear handle, reel seat and the front handle, it feels like a very well thought out rod. One thing we don't like is this type of shallow and two-piece hook holder that sits on the side of the rod. We still prefer a simple type of eyelet that sits underneath. The guides come just like the reel seat from Fuji and are their SIC guides. I haven't had any problems with these at all and think they remind me a lot of Fuji Alkanite K guides that I appreciated earlier. Here we have 1 on the lower part of the rod and 9 on the upper part, so 10 in total. If we look at the backbone of the rod, it is made of a carbon fiber type called Torayca. We have tested it on a number of rods from both Savage Gear and Vestin, and this is the type of backbone that we are very happy with. The rod's casting weight is 56 to 250 grams. We found that this rod worked best with soft baits. In terms of casting weight, we think it falls more between 150 and 300 grams rather than what is stated on paper, which is 56 to 250 grams. We also didn't have any baits weighing more than 300 grams during our testing, and here we believe that this rod is actually quite heavily underrated and can handle significantly heavier baits. When it comes to the rod's action, it is described as moderate fast on the rod, but we think fast or even extra fast fits better with the action we experienced. The rod is very top sensitive and has a quick recovery time after casting the bait. This rod is very stiff, so it's perfect if you appreciate very stiff and fast rods. But if you want a softer action in your rod, then we definitely think you might want to look at something else. I always look at why or why not you should buy a product we test, and here we can start by looking at why you should buy this rod. The rod is perfect if you fish a lot with heavy soft baits. It has great backbone and well thought out details in the rear handle, reel seat and front handle. It is a very stylish rod that works well with other equipment. The quality of the components is very, very high. Why shouldn't you buy this rod then? It is a bit front heavy. The hook holder was something we didn't appreciate. The rod is not an all-rounder. If you want to fish with baits other than heavy soft baits, there are better options in the SG8 series. The rod also has a very, very high price tag. If the length and the higher casting weight don't suit you, there is an 8-foot rod with a casting weight of 42 to 140 grams that we have been very happy with. Keep in mind that this rod is not nearly as stiff as the one with a higher casting weight and instead behaves more like a moderate fast action. On the spinning side, our absolute favorite is the SG8 Big Bait and the one that is 243 cm long with a casting weight of 28 to 112 grams. A slightly magical spinning rod that is both strong and at the same time really fun to fight fish with.
Man stod jag där efter.
Kolla. Fan, är en halvblind eller vad fan är den? Åh jävlar!
Ja, vad snyggt!
Det där var det sjukaste! Oj, oj, oj. That was everything we have thought about regarding this rod. If you've tried any of the rod in the series, then you're more than welcome to write what you think about them in the comments below. Please note that we post reviews continuously throughout the year, so you can subscribe and follow the channel so you don't miss anything. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of the fish, and hopefully, I'll see you soon.